So let's talk about Cixin Liu's The Three-Body Problem. It's the kind of book that manages to be both breathtakingly brilliant and casually terrifying. The literary equivalent of someone smiling politely while quietly pulling the rug out from under humanity's sense of cosmic importance. This is the first entry in Liu's Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, and it won the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 2015, partly because it's fantastic, partly because the science fiction community loves to reward anything that makes you question whether humanity deserves to survive. The book doesn't start with alien spaceships swooping over New York or laser battles in orbit. No, Liu begins with the Cultural Revolution in China, because nothing screams uplifting escapism like watching scientists beaten to death for suggesting Einstein might have had a point. It's a grim backdrop, but it's deliberate. Western sci-fi often filters alien contact through the Cold War, but Liu roots his story in China's own history of ideology, persecution, and political paranoia. It's a reminder that the most destructive force on Earth might not be nuclear weapons, but human stupidity combined with bureaucracy. The story follows Ye Wenji, a physicist whose family is destroyed by political violence. Traumatized and disillusioned, she eventually makes a choice that changes the course of humanity's future forever. Parallel to this is Wang Miao, a modern-day nanomaterials scientist who gets dragged into a mystery involving dead scientists, countdowns that appear in his vision like some sadistic Google Calendar notification, and a bizarre VR game called Three-Body. This game is either a cryptic simulation or the worst Steam Early Access title ever made. Inside, players are forced to solve impossible puzzles about a world plagued by catastrophic instability. Think of it like Civilization, except the RNG is a sadist, and the tutorial is written by Kafka. Spoiler alert, the game is more than a game. It's a window into the lives of the Trisolarans, aliens from a planet where physics itself feels like it's constantly drunk. Their sun rises unpredictably, sometimes baking their world, sometimes freezing it solid, and sometimes just leaving everything in chaos. These creatures don't just want to survive, they want a new home. And guess which blue and green planet looks awfully inviting from 4.37 light-years away? That's where the novel becomes properly unsettling. Instead of humans rallying together in glorious resistance, some factions of Earth's population actually welcome the idea of alien colonization. Why? Because after watching human history for long enough, they conclude we're a hopeless mess. And honestly, after scrolling through Twitter for 5 minutes, you might find it hard to argue with them. Ye Wenji herself, broken by what humanity did to her family, effectively invites the Trisolarans in. She doesn't exactly send them a LinkedIn invitation, but the result is about the same. The brilliance of The Three-Body Problem lies in how it balances hard science with philosophical unease. The three-body problem in celestial mechanics is, of course, the unsolvable puzzle of predicting how three massive bodies interact gravitationally. Liu uses it not only as the alien's cosmic curse, but as a metaphor for human society. Unpredictable, unstable, always on the verge of collapse. Science itself becomes fragile in the novel. The laws of physics seem to glitch, leaving brilliant researchers questioning whether reality itself is gaslighting them. Characters in the book are caught between despair and pragmatism. Ye Wenji is fascinating because she's not a cardboard villain twirling a mustache. She's a traumatized genius who sees betrayal as the only logical response to humanity's failures. Wang Miao, meanwhile, begins the book as a detached scientist and ends up stumbling through existential dread like the rest of us. And then there's Shi Qiang, the hard-boiled cop with the survival instincts of a cockroach. He's rude, he's cynical, and he's the only character who seems remotely prepared for the mess that's coming. If you want humanity represented in an interstellar standoff, you probably want someone like him, not the guy who cries because the laws of physics stopped making sense. The book is unapologetically heavy with science. Liu is an engineer by training, and it shows. He doesn't just throw around jargon to sound clever. He grounds his story in genuine astrophysics, quantum mechanics, and the Fermi paradox. At its core is an argument about cosmic sociology. If intelligent life exists in the universe, what are the rules of engagement? Spoiler, they're not friendly. Later books in the trilogy spell it out as the dark forest theory, but even here the seeds are planted. In the cosmic game of survival, broadcasting your location to the stars might be less like saying, "Hello, neighbors," and more like shouting, "Free buffet over here," in a forest full of starving wolves. The narrative itself isn't exactly a roller coaster. It's more like a slow climb up a mountain that ends with someone pushing you off a cliff. Liu spends pages on exposition, patient world building, and elaborate scientific explanation. It's not for everyone. If you prefer your sci-fi with wisecracking space pilots and blaster fights, you may find yourself longing for a car chase. But if you like science fiction that makes your brain itch in the best possible way, this is it. Ken Liu's translation plays a huge role in this accessibility, capturing not just the technical detail, but also the cultural nuance. It's worth remembering that this isn't Western sci-fi translated into Chinese. It's Chinese sci-fi speaking directly to a global audience. Now, the book isn't perfect. Characters sometimes feel more like chess pieces than flesh and blood humans, their depth sacrificed on the altar of exposition. Yi Wenji's choices, while thematically powerful, can feel like an enormous leap from personal trauma to planetary betrayal, and the pacing can be slow enough to make you wonder if the Trisolarans might just die of old age before they ever invade. But these flaws are almost inseparable from its strengths. The book is uncompromising. It doesn't spoon-feed. It asks you to wrestle with big ideas, and it doesn't apologize if that makes you uncomfortable. The reception has been enormous. In China, the trilogy was already celebrated before the English translation even existed. The Hugo Award-win helped open the floodgates for more translated works of Chinese science fiction, reshaping the genre into a genuinely global conversation. And of course, Netflix has adapted it into a shiny big-budget series. Whether that's going to expand its audience or water down its most unsettling elements is still up for debate, but it's proof of how far the book has traveled. Ultimately, The Three-Body Problem isn't just a novel. It's a cultural milestone. It asks us to confront the possibility that humanity isn't special, that our greatest achievements might be trivial footnotes in a hostile universe. It doesn't offer comfort. It offers perspective, and perspective can be brutal. But it's also exhilarating. It's science fiction at its most ambitious, dragging us out of our human dramas and holding us accountable to the vast, cold, indifferent cosmos. So should you read it? If you want your science fiction fast, loud, and simple, probably not. But if you're ready for a story that mixes astrophysics with existential dread, political trauma with cosmic pessimism, and just enough grim humor to keep you from crying into your coffee, then yes, read it. Just don't expect to come out of it feeling reassured about humanity's future. Because as Liu makes abundantly clear, if the aliens don't kill us, we'll probably finish the job ourselves.